Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Longbox, where we're launching Wulf and Batsy number 13.
Take two.
This is the spooky Halloween issue, as opposed to the non-spooky, non-Halloween issues of Wulf and Batsy, right?
Right.
So this is streaming on Bryan's channel. This is streaming on my channel, and this is the link. This is why we're here. Wulf and Batsy number 13. Go ahead, Bryan.
Hey. Yeah. So we tried to do this. Sorry, I'm futzing with my camera here a little bit. There we go. That looks a little better. Yeah. So launching Wulf and Batsy issue 13 campaign tonight. It's been up for what, an hour and 40 minutes, I guess. Not quite 2 hours, and we're already halfway to the goal. Hey, look at that. That's awesome. Yeah, and I was trying to do this stream on my own channel, and I'm just still too new at StreamYard yet, so I didn't know how to pull up all this stuff and everything. So thank you for hosting me, John. And let's do this the right way.
I this is one of my favorite comics, so I feel like I'm helping in my own small way to make a good comic. You know what I mean? Help it keep going. I feel I'm participating. I'm helping. That's.
Well, hey, as an indie comic creator, we need guys like you.
Right.
Mean the world to guys like us.
Everybody grab an oar. Everybody help. I mean, if you like comics, a rising tide floats all boats.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking with Mike Baron today, and we were talking about how do we, comic. Everybody's doom and gloom about comics, and Mike Baron says it's so simply: make good comics.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a good comic, so.
Yeah. Well, we try.
So, I guess want me to play the trailer.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this big, and then I'm gonna make. is that? How cool is that?
Thank you.
I gotta say, I've been reading Wolf of Bats, not from the beginning, but from the first alternate issue is when I first discovered your comic. And of course, you got a long and storied career even before that. I picked up all your books. And I got tricked into, they're such sweet. And then you put out a couple of, what did I say was the meanest issue ever? The Fall of the House of Zagzag story arc you said was the meanest Wolf and Batsy story of all time. So I can't forget that, because even in the Gorilla Suit Maniac, they were like, they're still sweet helping this guy kind of thing. And then that one was so mean. And so now I'm watching this, and you fooled me once. Shame on me. I'm like actually scared. Like, what's going on? So, good job.
Well, I hope that trailer hints at some cool stuff that happens in the issue without giving everything away or too much away. I hope it's a little bit vague on purpose.
Yeah, I want to ask you, but I also don't want you to spoil it either. I want to read it as a fan.
Right. It's intended to make you kind of wonder, what is this about?
All I know is I'm a little nervous now because you tricked me. You made me think it was nice. but when I said, what's going on? You said, John, they're monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget who said it first. Somebody at some point said a horror story should be like a mean old dog that'll bite you if you get too close to it.
Yeah. That cat that cute cat. Then you pet it one too many times and they
right.
Yeah. So I think I saw you launched, and I was trying to get to be backer number one, but I was live doing my It's Clobber Time show, so I was like, you guys talk, and I was so I think I made it to backer number two. I only have a chance to be the first backer.
I don't think anybody can beat Kyle Davis. I don't know if he's in the chat, but he's one of my longtime readers of Wolf and Batsy, and he collects a lot of the original artwork, and he's I don't know how he does it. He's got a hair trigger or something. He's like Clint Eastwood in A Fistful of Dollars, which is, I post new artwork and he's just like and they're gone.
Cole was 3. I got to check. Hey, Hojo says, way to go, Hojo.
Oh, hey, Hojo.
Hojo has a great comic, The Mythicals, which is also like horror inspired occult investigators.
Looks great. Yeah. I got to get that one.
So I noticed this is the first time you actually definitively give a location. You said like Thin Tree, Ohio.
No, not the first time. No.
Not the first time. Okay.
No, all my Wolf and Batsy stories, either they pretty much always say where they are, or I guess there's a few of them that don't nail down the location, but like the first story arc, We Have No Home, was in Epworth, Ruddy, Ohio, and then and Bizarre Experiments also, because that's where Professor von Zagzag's mansion is, right? The second big story arc, the second graphic novel I did, Lustmord Nightmares, which you got in the paperback, trade paperback.
About to start,
Yeah, that one has a specific town. So does the other one. And this one does too. Now, I wonder if anybody caught the joke. In the trailer, you see the name of the town is Thin Tree, Ohio.
Yeah, Thin Tree.
Nobody noticed? That's an anagram of 13.
Oh. So now, I've been constantly. I think I've known Bryan now for like 3 years, and I constantly disappoint him because he's like, Bryan, I just read Wolf and Batsy, the newest issue. Oh, did you get this little thing? I did not get it.
I read a lot of Mad Magazine when I was a kid, and they always put in those little subliminal jokes in the corners and in the edges, and that always I just love that. So I try to do that in my comics all the time, throw in little goofy jokes. Hey, Depressive Sophomore. What's going on? No, it's not the 13th. What happened was my original plan was to launch this on the 13th, on October 13th. That just felt appropriate for the issue number being 13 and everything else. But well, part of the reason for that too was because I was waiting. I was holding off for something else that I was dealing with, and I didn't think that would be ready until the 13th. But then it was out of the way sooner than I thought, and I thought, and then the new webcam I wanted to use showed up today, and it just became one of those things. It's like, why should I wait? Like, and I was getting messages from people that were excited about it, saying they couldn't wait for me to launch it or whatever. And I just thought, well, what difference does it make? I mean, it's Friday night. It's a good time to launch a campaign. Let's just do it. I'm anxious to get it out there. I want people to get the story. So it's only 2 days earlier. So why not? It's still the weekend of October 13th, right?
Right. Friday's a good night rather than what would it have been, a Monday night?
No. It would have been Sunday. I would have done it Sunday afternoon probably. But you never know. Sundays are sleepy days for a lot of people. And Friday night, it's more fun,
So, what is Ohio filled with horror? Like, now you keep using Ohio as, and I know that was like a meme a couple of weeks ago, like, oh, Ohio, there's something scary in Ohio, whatever.
Well, that's where I'm from. I was born and raised here, but yeah, there's a lot of horror history in Ohio, the imaginary kind and the real kind. There's a lot of ghost stories, a lot of haunted Ohio stories, but also here's something interesting. There's a lot of famous celebrities and serial killers from Ohio. It's actually a long list.
These days, it's the same thing.
Right. Good one. But also, there is just such a crazy Halloween-y atmosphere here. Thank you, Madness Comic Network.
Right. I love that Halloween store that you did a video for.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did on my channel. Hey, Dr. Mask. Thank you. Oh man, everybody's been so nice. Looks like we're having a pretty blessed day. It's over 3,000 already. I can't believe it. Halfway to the goal already. On my YouTube channel, I did a video last year about this Halloween store in my hometown called Foy's. And this store is legendary. It's been there since 1929. It opened. My mom and dad shopped there when they were little kids, like it's been there forever. And I was raised with it. And it's a crazy Halloween store. You have to watch my video to see it, but it's just like, it's Halloween all year round at Foy's. And it's a famous store that sells Halloween masks and Halloween supplies of all kinds. And people from like the tri-state area come to Foy's in the fall to get their supplies or just to see it. And they have like 4 different stores now. And it turns like this weekend actually is the Halloween festival in Fairborn, Ohio, downtown. So and also the houses in this town just go crazy with the Halloween decorations. And I was one of the, oh yeah, super elaborate. And of course, my house was one of those houses when I was a kid. But I grew up with this, so I never thought anything weird about it. I thought every place was like this until I left and went off to school and everything, college and everything.
When I was a kid, it seemed like everybody got into the holidays. It was just rare not to see Halloween, Christmas decorations. People.
Yeah.
And now, so I wonder if it's just a nowadays thing. But it's good to see that your neighborhood still.
I think it's a regional thing. Because the holidays are huge in the Midwest. I mean, when it snows, it looks like a picture postcard of autumn or winter when the seasons really start changing during the fall and winter months here. It's kind of beautiful. I love it. And spooky. It's very atmospheric here, which is part of the reason I was so happy to move back here recently, because it's just, there's such an atmosphere in this state that just gets me in the mood to draw monsters and spooky stories and stuff like that. I guess
sunny California is not conducive to
California has its own weird spookiness to it, but I much prefer it's like when we moved back to Ohio after living in California for 20 years, I told my wife, I said, I feel like one of those videos where they take they capture the wild animal that needs veterinary help, and then they take it back in the cage out to its natural habitat and release it, and it runs free in the land where it belongs. Like, I feel like my life is one of those videos since we moved back here.
Oh, okay. Dr. Mask, Christmas Story was Terre Haute, Indiana. And I don't know why I remember that, but I always remember that, because I always thought Terre Haute was a made up word, so I looked it up because I watched that movie. So, so let's bring up the campaign. Let's see if any move. I don't know if I have to refresh this.
Yeah, it's yours looks the same as mine. Kickstarter seems to refresh.
Okay, yeah, because when I was doing Fund My Comic, you had to refresh it. So,
yeah, I remember that. Same with me, but this one, it seems to be doing it live, so pretty cool.
You want me to scroll down the campaign?
Yeah, we can go through the rewards if you want.
Okay,
I can talk to you about every one of them. Actually, let me grab one item, and I'll be right back. You go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here. We got Wulf and Batsy, issue 13. You can wonder why he's making a big deal about a horror comic making its 13th issue. Oh man, look at this! Look at the. I don't know. That's like the most horrific I've ever seen. Both of them. She's like crazily. I don't know. I was going to say something I shouldn't say, but he's covered in the blood. Is really gruesome.
Yeah, half of his face is blown off.
The funny thing is, in issue 2 of my comic, Heroic Tales, it prominently features mushrooms, and then you got mushrooms over here. So I wonder what's going on.
That's part of the story.
Mushrooms play a big deal in my story too. Fungi, yeah, there you go. And then we got poor Sonny Bono over here crawling through the.
Here's some of the original art.
Look at this. I love this, the way you have these pages like askew like this. Really cool. This is a good campaign.
Thank you. 4
variant covers. Let's take a look. So
these are fun. So there's your standard one. Now here's another joke. I don't know if this one's to me. I thought this was in your face. I thought everybody would get it, but I've had a couple of people that didn't catch on and were asking me questions that made me go, "Are you recognizing what's happening there? Do you see what the bones are doing there?"
Yeah, they're making a 13.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I had a couple people reach out to me and send me messages, and they said, "Are Wulf and Batsy fighting like weird human skull-headed snakes or something? What is this?" They didn't get it. Okay, I said, no, it's a 13. And then they're like, oh. So yet again, another joke where I thought maybe people aren't getting it.
But even if you don't notice it, it's like really eye-catching. Even if you don't notice it as a 13, just looking at it as skeletal structures, it's really cool. Really cool.
So here's cover number 2. I really particularly like this one. Actually, I drew this one. Well, I drew the sketch for this one a long time ago. And it's been sitting around as just a sketch for a long, long time. And I loved the image of it and the composition of it and just the idea of them sitting on a bone pile. And I just thought, I got to use this for something, but I don't know what. And then lo and behold, it fit right into this story.
I really like on your covers, you do the most with like the minimal amount of colors.
Yeah, there's very few colors going on here.
Right.
You get the gray tones with Wulf and the bone colors, and then Batsy's skin tone, which is all kind of the same, and then the flat red background. I just like to do it that way.
Yeah, I really like it. I like the way you could see the lines of color that kind of simulates fur in Wulf. That's really cool. I like that a lot.
Thanks. Yeah, it's fun to do that stuff. Okay, so yeah, so I don't know if you as a longtime comic fan probably get this, but it's intended to be. It's intended to be in the style of a Vampirella issue, like a classic 70s Vampirella comic magazine. They would do that kind of frame around it, and I use the same kind of logo and the little Warren magazine trade dress that they use. Yeah,
that is cool. I like the illustrated tales to bewitch and bedevil you. comic.
The color scheme for this image was actually inspired by this issue of Vampirella, number 24, which is my all-time.
I gotta make this small so people can see it. There we go.
Yeah, it's in the plastic. I probably should have took it out, but this is my all-time favorite Vampirella issue or cover, because it looks pretty kind of dark on this screen here. But if you see it in person, this blue, it's not even blue. It's like turquoise smoke. And I just always love the color scheme of that, the mix of the turquoise blue and the red. And so who drew some inspiration from that.
I can see a cat in the back, right? That's a real cat back there?
Yeah, that's Zira.
Who did that illustration on that Vampirella?
I believe that's a San Julian. He was kind of Warren's second guy after came to covers.
I meant to make this big, and I removed you for a split second. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So it's funny. A conversation about this came up just today on Twitter, and I had to chime in because somebody was talking about homage covers. Actually, it was it was your buddy. It was your buddy Steve. My buddy Steve actually brought it up. He was talking about homage covers, saying, "What do you think of those?" And I answered because it related directly to this, which is on my mind lately. And I said, it's funny. Like for a long time, I was really cynical about homage covers. I thought they were kind of like a gimmick, but I started to see more and more artists doing them in fun ways that just looked fun to me. One of the people that really brought me around on that was Josh Howard's homage covers that he did for T-Bird and Throttle, where he did the She-Hulk one, and he did one that looked like an Archie and Betty and Veronica type cover. That was great. So it started to seem more and more fun. And so when it came time to do this campaign, I've never really done variant covers even before, like alternate covers. So I thought that sounds fun. I should do that and do a couple homage type covers. So what would be appropriate for me? And I just thought, a Vampirella one would be fun, because it's just such a completely different style from what I would normally do in terms of the layout.
Yeah. So this is my first time seeing them. I just scroll down back to all the covers, boom, boom, boom. And so now I'm seeing what I'm actually getting out of it. This is cool. I think this is so cool. Yeah, I agree with you about homage comics. That didn't come out correctly. Homage covers. Mm-hmm. I don't know why that's so difficult to say. But I'm so tired of seeing the same comics homage, like the Wolverine, right? The Hulk reflections in the claws. Fantastic Four #1, Spider-Man #1.
Yeah, there's certain famous ones that people will always do over and over again.
So I like that. That's your buddy Steve. He did Savage Dragon #1.
Yeah,
he did an homage with Thug jumping out. I'm like, nobody gets this. It's so obvious. He even did the same fonts.
Yeah. And here's another homage I did in the style of. I don't need to say it. I don't think. Do I?
No. This is Frazetta for Savage Sword.
No.
Oh, after Mayerick. Okay.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite Savage Sword of Conan covers. I always love this, and I wanted to do it.
Let me make that big.
I know it's an obscure one. It's not a famous. It's not a famous one like Wolverine with the claws or Daredevil with the gun. No more Mr. Nice Guy. It's not one of those super famous ones, but it was always one of my favorites, and I thought it'd be a perfect composition to do an homage to for this particular Wulf and Batsy story. I mean, you got this guy looking really cool and weird, and Conan looks tough, and then you got this chick looks great over here, and plus it's kind of a cave environment, which works. And I even replaced the Conan figure up here with a wolf up here.
What issue?
And then the font, of course, it's number 22. Yeah, but it was always one of my favorite covers for Savage Sword. So I thought to keep the kind of 70s horror vibe, I would redo that one.
That is cool. That is so cool. So it looks like Wulf is fighting some rats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I'm dying to ask you, but I don't want it spoiled for me either.
You can ask me whatever you want. I may or may not answer it because I might not want to spoil anything.
All covers.
Actually, I can show you some fun stuff if you want to see some original art. We can go through it at the end, I guess. It might be more appropriate.
Let's finish the campaign.
Okay. Yeah. One thing at a time. Yeah.
I know you're excited. I'm excited too. And this is good too because you could get
okay. This was a whole thing. So I was designing this I was working on this campaign page for like a month and or more, but I was completely focused on just doing Wulf and Batsy issue 13. I was all zeroed in on that. And I just and meanwhile I was fulfilling the other campaign, and issue 10 and 11 just completely got wiped out. Like I thought I overprinted, and they still got, because after the campaign, after fulfillment, people were still like sending me messages saying, I missed the campaign. Can I buy one? And I had extra ones. So
you could shout it from the mountaintops for 6 months, and there's still going to be somebody going, I didn't know you had a campaign.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So there's always going to be some stragglers. So, World of War Comics. Yeah. I love that guy. He's got a great show. Great show. Yeah. Always does great interviews and stuff. And it's always a pleasure to visit with him on his channel. So good to see him here. And thank you for your compliment. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ran out of number 10.
Right. So meanwhile, while I was building this 13 campaign, the last dwindling copies of 10 and 11 were just getting, taken out left and right. And so then I started to get all the emails from people saying, hey, I want issue 10 and 11. I missed the campaign. Can I? And meanwhile, I only had like 4 left, and they were already spoken for by other closer friends and stuff, that people have already asked for them, but I'm going to give them to them in person because they're around here. So, right. but yeah, I hadn't gotten to them yet. So I was like, well, maybe I could do a second chance campaign. And for a while, I was talking about doing like 2 different campaigns and just having them overlap a little bit. Like do this Wulf and Batsy 13 campaign and then do like a second chance campaign, maybe on another platform. I don't know. It was all kind of nebulous, but I was trying to decide what to do. And then one morning I just woke up and I thought, I just need to put 10 and 11 as add-ons on this.
Better.
Yeah. Keep it simple. And then also it was also like, well, also to create a little more excitement around them for the people who already got them, why not do some variant covers on 10 and 11? Make it a thing, just do variant covers, see what happens. I mean, again, I've said it over and over again, but this is only my second time doing a crowdfunding campaign on my own. So everything I'm doing, everything is an experiment to see what works.
You're going to make me go and add add-ons because I didn't know you had variant covers for issue 10.
Yeah. So this is the scene in issue 10, probably one of Batsy's best scenes, one of her best kills. A lot of people like that. So
reminded me she's a monster. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I will also add the back covers feature the same artwork as the front covers, but with all the trade dress and logos gone.
Okay.
And in the case of this one, the blood will be mostly gone.
Oh, okay.
And some of that steam will be gone too. Okay. On the back cover. So just letting you know.
Spicy variant cover. Limited. Yeah. Now I gotta go. This is one of my favorite covers that you've done. I don't know, the blue from the house, and then that house with that ominous orange light behind it.
Well, this is another horror homage. Which I can send it to you and you can throw it up on the screen if you want. Let me just find it. But that cover right there is another horror homage to another classic horror thing from my childhood. If I can just find it, I'll send it to you before I spoil it. Okay, I got it. Let me find your link. But the color scheme, the design of that cover was I should have pulled this up earlier, but it was inspired by something I loved as a kid that just said Halloween to me,
Yeah.
See if I can just drag this.
You sent it through Twitter or you sent it through private?
Yeah, send it to your DMs so you can grab it and throw it up there if you want. I can just say what it is. Yeah. So,
okay, I gotta stop sharing this, and I'll share that. And I always forget to hit end. Yeah.
There you go. Right.
We were talking about this. Yeah. What is this?
That's one of the most famous Halloween horror records from I think it came out in the late 60s, but it was still very popular when I was a kid. The Chilling, Thrilling Sounds of the Haunted House by Disneyland Records. It's all the classic Halloween scary sound effects from the Disney sound effects library. And some of them are put together like little stories. And I had this record as a kid, and I'd listen to it while I was drawing. And sometimes I would just stop and stare at that cover. Like ever since I was a little, I would just stare at it. I mean, I found this cover very, very frightening when I was a kid, because beautiful but frightening, because my imagination would go crazy, and I'd always be looking at it wondering what is going on in the attic, because there's one window lit up and the light is orange and it's the only light in the house. What is going on up there? And my imagination would just go crazy wondering what was up there, So, but I love it. If you can see it, if you get a chance to look at it close up sometime, if you really pay close attention to the tree, and there's different editions of this record which don't have that spooky party hints blurb on the front, where you can see that whole tree on there. And the tree and the grass, the way it's painted is just gorgeous, because it's really loose paint strokes. And for an artist, it's another one of those things like you were talking about, like so minimal, but doing so much. The grass, especially. Oh, it's beautiful.
I love that tree branch coming over. It almost makes you think like it's going to grab me. Like it's a tree or something,
You can feel the wind,
We all had that as a kid, that tree that kind of wrapped against our window.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a tree. That was a monster trying to kill me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the daylight, it transformed into a tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's actually a sequel to this record, which is, in my opinion, superior to this one, because it's just better done, and it uses sound effects to tell more stories, and there's no narration. It's just sound effects telling the stories, but you can totally get it. It's absolutely wonderful, and so atmospheric and so fun to listen to when you're drawing monsters. But this was kind of the famous one, though. Yeah.
Do you use this record in your sound effects for your trailers? Like
sometimes if it fits, I will. Yeah.
I could just
little bits and pieces.
I could just imagine little Bryan just sitting there drawing, and there's just a record player on, and it's just screams and door creaks.
Yeah.
and wolves howling.
Yeah. You can hear
this kid.
In the Foy's video I was talking about earlier on my channel, you can hear some of those, not from this record, but from a different one that I loved also. Yeah. I can go on about this stuff, but yeah.
I had a cassette tape with like horror, spooky sounds and stuff.
Yeah. 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 I listened. I had a collection of Halloween records. Halloween records were super popular in the late 70s, early 80s. And I had a ton of them, because, my grandparents, they were just like, and my parents, they were just like, anything with monsters, they'll love it. Just get it, So I had and if I went to the record store and I saw a record that had a big picture of Frankenstein on it or whatever, I was buying it with my allowance, So I would listen to Halloween records as much as I listened to music when I was a kid.
It's funny how kids get hooked onto something. Like when I was a kid, it was superheroes, and you as a kid, it was monsters. Like you.
Yeah.
Did you ever put a towel around your neck and run around and be Superman, or did you put?
Oh, sure.
To pretend to be Dracula.
Oh, sure. Well, both, of course. Yeah. But I've heard it said, you probably heard this too, the theory that superheroes are like, what is it that what they say, male power fantasies or whatever? You've heard that. Adolescent male power fantasies, right? Well, that is true, but when I was an adolescent, my power fantasies was like Frankenstein and the Wolf Man and Freddy Krueger and monsters, So like power through fear. Swamp Thing. He's a good monster.
Zach Dan wants to know, it's not a sport, but could Wulf or Batsy spread their conditions to others?
Oh, absolutely. That's why whenever Batsy sucks someone's blood, she immediately chops their head off so they won't come back. Unless it's someone she wants to have come back, which has happened a couple times.
Do you? Well, we'll finish the campaign, and then I want to pick your brain about monsters and stuff like that.
Okay.
Limited edition violent cover.
Oh yeah, I did a spicy cover, and this one's the violent cover because issue 11 is the one that has the big fight scene at the end.
Look at that blood sprayed all over the logo.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got some nice guts in there too.
Oh, look at that! Yeah.
And Batsy's got blood on her too. Yeah, I wanted to have fun with the blood and gore on this one.
Zagzog.
So yeah, good old Zagzog.
So standard cover set. This man, I got to go back and add to my pledge. And the trading cards, yes, Bryan. I picked Bryan's head about the trading cards, so you helped me make the trading cards for my campaign, which I'm very thankful.
Oh, right, as far as like the specs and everything, yeah.
But I love looking at this. Your covers are really, really good, and I already mentioned. I love that you use like the least amount of colors possible. Like that top left, it's what's it, 4 colors? I think all of these, like 5 is probably the most amount of colors.
I like to keep it simple. There's some painterly stuff going on in them, like brush strokes and things, but it's always brush strokes of the same color, just different values of the same colors. Like you were pointing out, like the lines on Wulf's shoulder were to indicate the fur. It's just the same gray, just slightly adjusted the values. That's all.
Yeah, I this first, this was my first. I'm putting a cursor on it, like you can see. Issue 1.
No, you can see the cursor on your screen. I see it.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, what you're pointing at there. Yeah.
Issue 1. This was my first introduction to you, and I just remember I looked at that cover for a long time before I even opened the book.
Thanks.
It's such a great cover. I mean, all the covers are good, but I didn't know who you were. I never heard of Wulf and Batsy, and then to just look at this cover.
Yeah.
I know one of our first conversations that we had, we were talking about like listening to a song for the first time. And I was like, just imagine it's 1969 or 68, and your friend gives you that the first Led Zeppelin album, and you put the needle down, and you just hear like da-da, ducka. That's like the feeling I got when I saw that Wulf and Batsy. It was like, what is this? I don't know anything about this. I got all excited. I think I made a video. It's one of my early videos. And that's how you contacted me. I think after I made a video.
Yeah, I think that's true. You were one of the first people to review it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Here we have sketch cover commissions.
Yeah, I got a sketch cover. I commissioned original art. I think you and Josh were the first times I ever commissioned original art from anybody. It was really good. So guys, and Bryan didn't skip. He did a great. I keep reaching over here because I had it over here for the longest time. And of course, I put it in the back room yesterday, right before I knew I was going to be doing this to show off the original art. And then
here's, if you don't want an original, or if you don't want a sketch cover, here's just an original art commission, 9x12. 1 or 2 characters. You can get Wulf by himself, Batsy by herself, or Wulf and Batsy together, or 2 other characters of your choice. So here's some samples of that. I've been doing this series lately of Batsy being stalked by different classic monsters. Okay. So they're all 9x12. So, well, there's a couple 10x14s, but not on this page. But and then here's some other monsters or horror characters. Right. Try to keep it to 1 or 2 characters, but I love to do original art commissions like that. So here's the original art for the covers, which I can show you. I have them here actually, if you want to see them.
How long does it take you to do like a page like this?
Well, there's no real answer to that because every one of them is different, and it all depends on just how many hours I just make myself sit there and work on it. And I'm a goof off. I'll do a little bit and then go goof off and then come back and do a little more and then put it. That was fun. Put it aside. Finish it tomorrow, the next day. Whatever. But also, I can't. It's hard for me to time myself also because I have I'll do 4 drawings at the same time and just rotate them make a little progress. And then when the ink is wet and I'm painted myself into a corner and I can't do anything else because I'm going to bump the ink, then just put that one on the shelf and get the other one and do a little more on that one. And I just rotate them like that until they're all done.
Yeah. Do you like what I can't draw for those of you I write my comics and I'll get distracted. I don't know, but sometimes I welcome a distraction and then I come back and I'm like, oh man, that is the worst dialogue. I got to change that, or I came up with a better idea. Do you welcome distractions or do you need to be in the zone?
Oh, it depends on what it is. If I'm drawing, I really have to be in the zone. But when it comes to writing, I think I do some of my best writing when I'm like driving in the car. If I have to go somewhere that's kind of far away and I just have nothing to do but think.
Yeah.
I solve so many story problems that way, just daydreaming. When can you order it? You can order it right now at the Kickstarter campaign. It launched tonight at 8:00.
Yep. The link is the very first. This is the link. It's the very first comment in the chat, and I will put it again in case anybody can't find it. You could click on this, and they'll take you right to the Kickstarter page. So there you go. I'm imagining Batsy pretending to be an innocent damsel to lure monster stalkers, but getting bored if they aren't interesting enough.
Batsy has definitely disguised herself as innocent damsels before for different reasons, but usually when she does that, it's to move incognito through a crowd where she's outnumbered.
So I see two monsters right here on the screen.
That's me in my bedroom when I was 8 years old. I have that photograph, and on the back, my mom's handwriting is on the back, and it says August 1980. So it was what May, June, July, 3 months or so after The Empire Strikes Back came out. And it was my favorite movie, of course. And I had that Wolfman poster on my wall as a kid. I don't even remember how I got it, but again, it's like I probably just had a relative that said anything with monsters. He loves monsters. Just get him whatever has monsters.
Party, yeah. My family, they just got me comics. I'm like, thanks a lot. It's like the 60th Spider-Man issue. Don't get me comics. I got my own.
Right. But I use this picture for my kind of about the author shot because it's like it's me as a kid, which is me and my childish imagination, plus my favorite monster, the Wolfman, plus Star Wars. Hey,
right.
all the things that made me.
You got all your bases covered. If anybody wants to call you a tourist or grifter or anything, look at that picture. That
is me, captured at age 8 in the summer of 1980.
And this I love.
Oh yeah. So should I tell the story behind this one real quick?
Yeah. I
know you know it, but for anyone who's watching and hasn't heard this one yet, but so basically, so as we were saying at the beginning, I grew up in Ohio, moved to California for like over 20 years for my career, moved back here in 2022. And I was staying at my parents' house for a little while when I first got back. And I had some reason to go down in their basement and like root around for something I was looking for. And I found this box that said Brian's papers from kindergarten on the side. And I started going through this box, and it was like, my mom had saved all these drawings that I'd done when I was in kindergarten and first grade. And I'm talking drawings I had not laid eyes on since probably 1978. I had no memory of doing a lot of these, but it was all little scribbly drawings of the Wolfman, of Frankenstein, of Jaws, Godzilla, early Star Wars when the first Star Wars movie was the only one and it was brand new. Like all these old drawings, Battlestar Galactica characters, like King Kong, yeah. And it's like it was crazy to find that collection. And one of them was this right here, what you see in the Bloody Weirdo Comics logo. It was this scribbly little drawing of the Wolfman that I did when I was 5. Because I used to watch those movies on TV with my dad, when I was a little kid. So that's how I fell in love with all these monsters. But yeah, so I found this one particular drawing of the Wolfman, and it just struck me as so funny. And it sums up, my childhood brain and the effects that comics and monster movies can have on a child's brain, and it kind of sums up my imagination now. So I thought it'd be a great logo for my little publishing company.
It's funny because when you showed it to me, I saved it on my phone, and every once in a while it'll come up as a memory, and I'm like, it always brings a smile to my face. The Bloody Weirdo. And guys, this is a 64-page comic too.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
I was real tempted to split it in half and make it issue 13 and 14, but I don't know. The number 13 is associated with horror, right? So I thought, I got to make a big deal out of this one. Make it a double-sized issue, you know? A bad luck extravaganza.
So these are your tiers? You got a digital? Yeah. Got to have a digital.
Digital PDF. You got your issue 10, 11.
Good. I'm talking over you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So there's the standard issue, cover A, the main version. the bone pile cover is cover B. There's the trading card set. They stack these reward tiers strangely on Kickstarter, I find, because they stack them in order of value, the price tags, if you notice. Which to me it drives me a little crazy because I'm like, no, I just want to see the issues in order of the variants and then put the other things at the bottom. But no, they stack them in terms of the price tag, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense to have all the covers and then the cards last.
If I was in charge, that's the way I'd do it, but I'm not. Yep. So here's your variant covers of issue 10 and 11, which I had so much fun. I had so much fun making those covers. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. So there's your cover your variant cover C for issue 13. Cover D that we talked about.
Yeah.
And there's the 1 through 12 digital PDFs.
Oh, there you go.
Because you get the issue 13 PDF when you buy issue 13. So this will give you the rest of the series, basically.
There you go, $30 for 12 issue, the digital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that.
And then you have your 4-pack of all 4 issue 13 variant covers. 10 of those have gone already. I was surprised. I didn't imagine that anybody would buy all of them, but I love that people like it that much that they're doing that. I thought people would just kind of get the one they liked best, but I love the collector aspect, you know.
Yeah, I'll talk about that when we're done going over how I made a mistake with my campaign that, you know. So here's your original art. I kind of went too far. Oh, you already got 2 commissions. Good for you.
Yeah, I wonder if whoever got those, if they sent me emails to let me know what subject matter they're interested in, because I'm, you know, let me know if you have something specific in mind. I want to tailor it to make you happy, you know. That's my job. So original art. I can show you
the original art.
Yeah, I never do this. Not on the main covers, but I'm going to do it on the variants.
Talking about that.
Yeah,
you don't sell the original art, so this is a shock to me. I actually got stunned.
Right. Well, that's why I priced them the way I did, because I don't want to lose them. So if you want them, you're gonna have to pry them away from me.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to keep them. So I have them. I have them here if you want to see them when we're through this. If you want.
Okay. All right. And original. Wow! I can't believe I'm stunned.
Yeah, 2 out of 4 have gone already.
Oh wow!
I didn't offer all of them. I wanted to keep the main ones, the 2 main ones.
Oh, that spicy variant probably went first.
I think that was the first thing that got sold, which blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. I was surprised by that, but I thought it would take a lot longer for people to get around them to those the bigger items on the list. But that one actually went really. That one was. I think that was the first thing that was bought on the campaign.
So cool.
Like within the first few minutes of it launching, I stepped away for a minute and I came back and looked at it, and those first 2 original art pieces were already gone. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow.
I like this comment, Screaming Skull. Love Batsy's bone bikini. Let's call it a bone bikini. I said the same thing to Bryan. I said, I love the bone bikini. So there you go.
The
Bryan
characters,
Baugh, inventor of the bone bikini.
Well, great minds think alike, I guess, because the same exact joke is in the book.
Really?
When she first unveils it, someone sees it and goes, "Hey, you made a bone bikini, a bone-kini." It's so obvious, but you know.
I already know the answer to this, but Bryan, did seeing The Howling influence you as a child?
Oh yeah, one of my favorite movies of all time. The Howling. Okay, so 1981 was a big year for werewolf movies. You had The Howling and American Werewolf in London. Both came out the same year. I was in the fifth grade. Exactly that age where my parents were kind of willing to let me watch whatever. They kind of let me watch whatever anyway, but I was just at that age where I was still a kid, but I was just old enough to kind of process it. And yeah, I saw both The Howling and American Werewolf in London really early on when they were new. And yeah, and I love them both, but I kind of like The Howling more. The Howling werewolves were the inspiration for Wulf's design. Now, what's interesting is these days you have movies like Underworld and Dog Soldiers where they do the giant 9-foot-tall man wolf with the wolf head and the humanoid body with arms and legs. But there was nothing like that when I was a kid except The Howling. That was the only movie that showed werewolves like that. And it was mind-blowing when that movie came out saw it the first time. And I remember that was a movie that was played to death on like HBO or something. And I had a cousin named Scotty, and he was as addicted to that movie as I was. And whenever we saw it in the TV guide, we'd call each other and say, it's on today. It's on today. You got to watch it. So I saw it a million times that way too.
Yeah. I saw them both, but I got American Werewolf in London. I could almost recite.
Yeah, yeah. I can recite both of them.
I remember the practical effects, and I remember watching on HBO, they showed like how they did that transformation scene, which inspired Michael Jackson's. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it?
Just one. Give me 1 second. I'm going to mute myself for just a second.
Okay. So I remember watching how they did the practical effects, and then I think they hired the same team to do what is that Michael Jackson song? Chiller, what? Thriller. You know, right?
Hi, I know that you're busy.
Yeah, I'm busy. We have a surprise guest.
Oh, how you doing?
What do you say? She says she's doing good. That's my friend John. I don't think she can hear you because I got the headphones on.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
This is my little monster.
Yeah, what's your favorite monster?
What's your favorite monster?
His?
No, yours. What's your favorite monster?
No, you're her favorite monster.
What's your favorite monster?
I forget.
She forgets. Okay.
What is your favorite monster?
Wolfman. What's your favorite monster? She likes the Mummy.
I'm not gonna answer my favorite monster.
Okay. Well, maybe you better go get ready for bed, okay?
Okay.
And I'll see you later. All right, go. I gotta do business.
Okay.
All right, love you. Bye. Now, she likes the Mummy, which is fascinating to me because it's really weird. Like when she was little, I would show her the Scooby-Doo cartoons, which I loved as a kid too, you know, because different monster every episode. And she loved them all, but for whatever reason, she got hooked on the episode with the Mummy, where he's like, coin, that one. And it was so funny because from then on, she would notice the Mummy, like my little figures and stuff I have. And and she would know that one. And I showed her Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, actually, and she thought it was hysterically funny and she loved it. And I also showed her The Mummy's Hand, which is one of the first serious Mummy sequels, you know, from the 40s. And she liked that one too. And I find it fascinating. Like, what is that makes a kid fixate on a particular monster and decide that's their monster? I don't know how that happens for whatever reason.
Like, I like the Thing from the Fantastic Four. Why did I pick the Thing?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like the Wolfman has been my favorite monster since before I can even remember deciding that. Like, I don't remember deciding he was my favorite monster. He just always was. And so it's always fascinated me, that idea of how exactly does that happen in a kid's brain, like where they make up their mind, that's my favorite. So for a while she was on a Mummy kick and that was her favorite. I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
Yep.
These are the things I obsess over because I'm crazy.
It's fun stuff to obsess over. Yeah, the 64 pages reminds me of the Marvel annuals from the early 90s, back when annuals were a big deal and you looked forward to them. They weren't just filler or something that you had to get to finish off a 24 arc story from everybody else.
Yeah, if there was more hours in the day, I wish I could make annuals on top of the series I'm already doing. I love that. And the reason it's 64 pages is because it's an even split between two. It's like 32. It's like two 32-page issues. Right. It's a page count that every printer can do. It has to be done.
When I talked to the printer, they were like, make sure it's divisible by 4.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Torchbearer Studios, we were just talking about you.
Oh, hey, Steve.
You ready to come in, Steve? Come in, help me. Brian. If you don't come in, that means you hate Bryan. And Hojo again. Old Dirty Fatty wants to give you a piece of. I think it's what you like.
That's a howling joke. That's a howling joke.
Oh, it's a howling joke.
Okay. Let me give you a piece of my mind. He pulls the bullet out of his head. I got to meet Robert Picardo actually at a horror convention in Burbank when I lived in California, and I had a chance to tell him he was my favorite werewolf when I was, my favorite modern werewolf after the Wolfman.
Is he the same actor from Star Trek, the Doctor?
I'm not a Star Trek fan, but Josh Howard has told me that he is in Star Trek.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that.
Doctor, yeah.
But he's also he was one of Rob Bottin's main monster suit actors. Have you ever seen the movie Legend? The Ridley Scott movie Legend with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And the Tim Curry as the big devil.
Tim Curry is the devil. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember Meg Mucklebones, the green sea witch in the swamp?
Vaguely.
That was Robert Picardo in that suit too.
Oh. Well, I'm just going down to make sure. I guess this is one of you guys from your channel. The news lady turned into a werewolf
at the end of the Howling. Yeah, she did. That was Dee Wallace. I met her at Monsterpalooza also. She was a sweetheart.
I at one point I tried to stump Bryan with monster trivia, and I quickly realized that's not a game I'm gonna win. So I surrendered and moved on. Yeah, it's human nature, to pick something that fixes it. And again, it is fascinating. What is a kid gonna get interested in? I one of my nephews just like the stuffed animal, and my niece just giraffes. She just decided she loves giraffes, and that giraffes everything, giraffes wrapping paper, giraffe stuffed animals. Who knows? Maybe she likes Egypt. My wife. That's like her bucket list to go to Egypt and see the pyramids. I'm in my underwear getting ready for bed. Probably should not come right now. We'll keep the camera here up. I don't want to see your underwear. I can see my underwear. You don't know that. You don't know me. You've quite the difficult cosplay. Oh, there you go.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that either, but now I want to go to whenever Bryan's at a convention. I want to go and face this Bonkini girls.
Yeah, the kind of one of the inspirations I'll give away is you remember the X-Men issue in the 90s where Rogue went to the Savage Land?
Yeah.
Well, the character of Rogue, who'd always been covered in a costume up to her chin, because she has that power where if you touch her skin, it'll kill you or whatever. So they did that one story where she went to the Savage Land, and all of a sudden she's dressed like a jungle girl, and a lot of people love that. It's become an icon. For some reason,
people remember that.
Well, for some reason, yeah. But that was kind of one of my ideas because I was thinking I love that idea of a female heroine who goes into a savage environment and then has to look savage to deal with the so that's my horror version of that kind of thing. My horror version of a jungle girl type situation, I guess. Make a bikini out of bones.
Yeah, oh my God, yes, Savage Rogue. Everybody, didn't they just bring it back? Isn't there a?
I don't know if they brought it back, but I get the feeling that a lot of guys who were kids when that book came out, it's become an icon, and they do a lot of fan art of it now. You do see a lot of fan art of it by guys in their 20s and 30s now.
Tim Seeley is either writing a 4-issue series of Rogue in the Savage Land with Magneto, and I just remember people were attacking him because like the age difference, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, they're cartoon characters. And they're both adults. Knock it off.
Yeah.
You know, I you know, what is Rogue? She's supposed to be like 25, 26. You know, she was a
it's
kid.
It's all a fantasy.
Yeah. Hey, Gordon Goodbrother, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, hey.
This is pretty quick. I forgot to check. Could you get hard copies of one of all your issues, or just PDFs?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That is one thing that's a little different on this campaign from my first campaign. When I did my first campaign for issues 10, 11, and 12, I did offer the entire series as one package where you could get the all the physical issues all in one box. And that was a good idea in terms of sales because a lot of people bought it, but it was a real headache when I was doing fulfillment. It was a bit more trouble than it was worth. And a bit more costly with shipping too than I kind of expected. So,
well, this brings back to what I was going to say about living. Like I'm learning from my mistakes. You're doing a very smart thing here. Is you got 4 variant covers and you're offering them as a bundle. For my comic, I have altogether 5 variant covers, and I split them up over different websites. And I think I sabotaged myself. I think had my original campaign, if I did all 5 covers, here's a bundle. I think I would have done a lot more success because one guy said, I want to get all your covers, but if I get cover A for my comic and then cover B on Kickstarter and cover C on Indiegogo, that's $30 in shipping.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that. But a lot of people...
I obviously didn't think about that either. So
a lot of people have done that, though. It's not like it's not something we haven't seen before. I mean, right. I was planning to do something like that myself. But then I just was like, I need to handle one thing at a time. I'll drive myself crazy.
My solution is I'm going to do what you did. In issue number 2, I'll have a bundle deal of all the missteps that I've done in issue number 1. I too am learning. I was just talking to one of my friends today. I only learn from mistakes. If I do things perfect the first time, I don't remember what I did. But if I made a mistake, that remembers. There's something about cathartic following a character that has to go primal to survive against. Yeah. You know, I do like every once in a while when you see Spider-Man just go nuts and beat up like the Sinister Six. He has to get that medicine, and freaking Sandman and Vulture are in his way. You know, like somebody like Batman that's in control, and then Batman just loses it and beats people up. I mean, see Wolverine going nuts. That doesn't mean anything. He's always going nuts. Yeah. Yeah,
but there was a time when nobody else was, and that was cool, you know.
That's true. Yep, Screaming Skull. Your daughter is adorable. Yeah, Bryan,
thank you.
little like you showed your certificate that she earned while swimming. I think that's adorable too.
Yep, she's my pal.
That's good. And so, what is she drawing? You think she's got a comic book?
Oh my gosh, yeah. You have no idea. I mean, she does so much drawing that, like, I buy the big stacks of printer paper, and she'll come in the room and say, "Can I just get some paper to draw on?" And I'll give her a little stack. She'll come back. She has piles of little. I'll fold them in half and staple them for her to make them a little blank book that she can draw on all the pages. And she's got overflowing Tupperware bins of those now. She does a couple of them now that she's in school, she only does a couple of them every week, but she used to do like 4 of them every weekend. Like, just sit there on a Saturday afternoon and just do that. Like, tons of stories and drawings. She's really good for her age.
That's cool. I'm going to bring back your campaign since he said Wild. So he says Wild nearly 75% funded.
Oh, wow. Is that right? Wow. Yeah, that's wow. That's thanks, everyone.
Oh, okay. I had to make it big because my eyes couldn't see 6,000. Oh yeah, see.
No, wow. It's 4,352. I set the goal at 6,000. Yeah, I did the math and I figured out really it should be 7,000. I did the math and I figured out if I set it for 7,000, I can print 100 copies of everything, and that'll cover, the minimum of what we really need. But whatever. It's based on whatever people order. I just want to overprint if I possibly can, so I don't run into, things being out of print. And you know.
So do you find every campaign, are you getting more fans, more backers? You know, like a virus, are you spreading?
Well, I mean, this is only my second one. You know, this is only the first night of my second one, so I haven't really had enough time to figure that out yet. But this is doing better than the last one did. When I did my first campaign, I had 3 new books on there, issue 10, 11, and 12. And I set the goal amount at 3,000. Because again, I did the math and I figured that'd be enough to get a certain print run that I want of all 3 issues. And I think we started it on a Friday night, and I think it reached its goal amount in 24 hours, but it wasn't until the following like Saturday morning. So this has already passed 3,000 in just a couple hours. So
yeah, I forgot this is your second campaign. Your other campaigns were Alterna. So like in those campaigns, your comics was part of a bundle deal with everybody else. Yeah,
right. I mean, it does seem like there's new people coming out of the woodwork saying they like my book and ordering them, and you know, names I haven't seen before, and so it does seem like the readership is growing, the audience is growing, but I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff. I just kind of like fulfill orders as they come in, and I remember the names of everybody that orders, that's for sure. But I don't like keep track of how many there are really. I just kind of do my thing, and I don't know, and it just, you know, fulfill whatever the orders are. I have a brain for making up monster stories. I don't have a brain for keeping track of.
I know. I just want to tell your stories, and then guys at work like, "Are you making any money on your comic?" I'm like, "Money? I'm supposed to."
I don't know.
If I was going to be making money, I would have gotten to finance. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like there was enough to fulfill the campaign, which is great, and I'm happy about that. It's all that really matters, you know.
There's something.
I go into robot mode during fulfillment. I don't. It's not a thinking thing. It's just a going through the motions, getting it done, getting everything out there. Kind of.
Did you have butterflies all day? Were you nervous before you campaigned?
Today?
Yeah.
No, but I also didn't decide to do this until about 6 p.m.
Yeah,
I was planning to launch it later in the weekend.
Yeah,
and then, like I said, that other thing I was
stumble through your day. It was fun,
right? Yeah.
What does Zach then say? Stays at 7,500 for days despite pledges continuing. I don't know. What is it? It's going up. It's going up since we're talking. So. Kickstarter goes up in real time. Fund My Comic, I had to reboot to see.
Right. I don't know. There's always that's what happens with campaigns. They start out really strong and then they kind of slow down in the middle and then they pick up it again at the end. It happened with my last one, and everybody told me that's exactly what would happen. So.
Yeah, everybody says that, but you have a nice first day, and then you have a crater, and then you have a good ending. You know, so.
Mm-hmm. I noticed someone said maybe this issue being self-contained is a catch. Could be. I don't know. It might be. Might very well be.
I just think you're catching on.
That's. I like the sound of that. I hope that's the case. I have heard people say that if you do a story that's self-contained in one issue, it's more likely to do well or something, or people recommending that. But I don't know. I don't think that way. I don't let that guide me. I'm making the stories that I think I should make, and I'm making them the way I think I should make them. And I'm not going to change my stories or, break them up different or cut things out or cram them together. I'm not going to do that just to appease some theory about how to do this the best way or whatever. Now, I'm led by the material, not these other concerns. I know everybody has strategies and theories about how to do this the best way, but I just don't care about that. I'd rather just make my stories the way I think they should be and let the chips fall where they may. It's sort of like this whole crowdfunding campaign. I got so much advice that turned out to be correct and incorrect on my first one. things I now would disregard that people told me, and some things that people told me that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that person told me that, because I tried that and it really went over well. I think there's only one way to figure out how to do this, is to just do it and let it be an experiment, and don't be afraid of failing, and just let it, and just do it, try it and see what happens, and see what works and see what doesn't work, and then do it again and adjust as you go. Because probably when you think about, everybody's book is different. Of course, their campaign is going to be different. Everybody's audience is different. There's some overlap, but still, it's like, I don't know. I think if you just do the stories you feel in your gut you're supposed to do, and write them and draw them to the best of your ability, and then do the best you can with the campaign, I think people understand, and if they like it, they'll follow it. I don't know. I've always been one of those, the people who care will find it kind of people.
I'm with you. I made so many bad errors in the course of making my comic, and then making a campaign, and and I don't think I'm done making mistakes yet, but I'm not either. I know issue 2 will, every step of the way, is going to be astronomically better, because man, I didn't realize how difficult this was when I started out. I was just a bright-eyed, bushy-eyed, I'm gonna make a comic book. Yeah, it was a long, bumpy road, but it's fun, and I would do it again. I
always say writing and drawing is the easy part. Creating the comic is the easy part for me. It's the promotion and the building the campaign, all this technical stuff, and then of course the fulfillment is a lot of robotic process. You just have to kind of find your system of how to kind of do it and streamline that, and go through the motions and make it happen.
Writing my script was fun. I got all these daydreams. I streamlined them. Seeing Renzo send me art, oh my God, that is awesome. And then Daniel turned it in color. But what was really the best? Seeing it lettered for the first time, because that's when it became a comic book. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, it was just art and everything, but now it's a freaking comic book. And then I did converting it all to PDFs and pre-press and doing, oh my God, that was excruciating. I hated it. Transferring files back and forth. And then
that's you got a crash course in a bunch of little technical processes that I had years to learn. Or a lot of guys who do what I do just had years of figuring it out by trial and error, or with advice from friends, or figuring out how to do parts of it at our jobs and then other parts of it at home on our own, like self-taught. Took years to kind of make sense of all that. Like, I don't know, I could give you a million examples, but there's a lot of things like that.
I got a TIFF file from a TIF file from Dropbox, and then I had to upload it to my Google Drive. I'm not joking. That took me about 4 hours to figure out how to do that. I was ready to smash everybody, break everything, but now I know how to do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little bit more organized, but oh my God. And now I'm actually looking forward to fulfillment, because to me, that's a physical, concrete thing. That's things, put it in boxes. Because I know you're a comic book guy, but I'm a lunatic comic book guy. Do you enjoy bagging and boarding and organizing and sorting comics?
Not particularly. I enjoy the nostalgia and the fun of going through a box of comics I haven't looked at in a while, and just pulling out all those covers and being like, oh, I love that. I remember that one, or I'm going to reread that one, or I love that part of it. But organizing and all that stuff.
I love that. So I'm looking forward to, I'm going to put the stickers in this bag, and I'm going to put that over here.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm not looking forward to paying the shipping costs.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, one of the funny things about fulfillment that I did not like, but I did not see coming, and nobody warned me that this is part of it, is going to the post office with 2 shopping bags full of boxes and being the one crazy person in line who's going to go up to the counter and just set them a stack of Gemini mailers and boxes, and people in line waiting behind you. And it's, oh my God. And having to do that over and over and over again, twice a week.
I was told that you can actually have.
I didn't like that.
You can have the post office come and pick everything up.
Yeah, some people have told me some other ways of doing it like that. Yeah, I need to look into that. But just I can also be a little bit just like, let me just do this the sort of moronic, bullheaded way and just plunder my way through it and just get it done my way.
That's the way I am. Let me do it my way till I figure out that it's wrong.
Yeah.
There's a better way. Yeah. So Ernest says he's a new fan by recommendation. I hope I was the one who recommended you. I ordered on September 11th. Now I've ordered on 8/12 October 11th. Oh, I've read that wrong.
Issue numbers, yeah.
September, and he ordered 8 to 13 today. Thanks for giving a second chance on 10 and 11.
Thank you. Well, yeah, that's something worth bringing up is that there's I did put the link to my website store on the campaign page. So when people are scrolling through it and they're like, well, here's how to get 10 and 11 second chance, and here's how to get 13, but where's all the other ones? There's a link on there that says issues 1 through 9 and 12 are still available for order on my website store. So you can go over there and grab those if you want them, or grab just whichever ones you need. Yeah, it was that, like I said, trying to ship a whole box of the entire series on the last campaign. It was a smart thing to have on the campaign because a lot of people ordered it, but it became a bigger headache than it was really, more trouble than it was worth when it came time to fulfill that. So
what was it? Issue 12 was the one that sold out?
No, 10 and 11. 12 is somehow is still around. I ordered different. I ordered different. Whatever happened. I don't know. But I placed an extra order. I ordered some 10s and 11s early, and I don't remember how it happened. Somehow I ended up with more 12s than 10s and 11s.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if maybe people just picked up that and
Well, there are some customers that'll just order like a couple issues at a time and work their way through the series. I've had that happen. Not everybody just picks up the entire set or just issue 1 by itself. Most people will get it 3 or 4, chunk by chunk until they get all the way through it. I've had that happen many times. But my website store seems to have a lot of traffic. It seems very active. I'm getting orders, like a couple orders every week from different people. And sometimes they're people I've never heard of before, which means new readers. So I figure it's probably a better way to deal with that. Make those separate. I hope it's not too inconvenient for the readers, but I figure with this campaign and all the different variant covers, I'm going to have my hands full anyway. So without having to deal with 10 other issues.
So you didn't think you didn't want other artists to do variant covers?
It's not, well, for the longest time I just didn't want to do the variant cover idea at all because number one, it struck me as a little gimmicky. Maybe the first few times I saw it done, it seemed gimmicky. And it kind of just stayed in my mind that way. Also, and this is a pride issue probably, but no, not pride issue like that kind of pride. I mean like my ego. Sorry. You know what I mean? I just realized how that sounded when I said it. No, this is probably an ego issue for me, but I feel like for years and years and years when I first created Wulf and Batsy and I was pitching it to publishers and different people took a chance on it over and over and over again, I was told nobody will buy it if your art is on the cover because nobody knows who you are. We have to have someone who's already an established artist do the cover art. Which is fine because they did cool covers and everything, and I had a lot of cool guest covers early on. But it's like, after being told that so many times, you get to a point where you're like, when can I stop riding the coattails of my more famous friends and just have it be all 100% me? Because that's how it was up until I started dealing with a publisher. And so once I sort of reached that point where it was like, no, we want your cover artwork on the cover. I was like, thank you. Because that's what I want. So now it's just like, no, it's all me. It's all me.
I remember when I was doing my comic, Renzo, my artist, the interior artist, he said, can I draw the cover? And I was like, of course you're drawing the cover. He goes, I never get to do the covers. You know what I mean? So I was like, of course you're doing the covers. I want to work with you because I love your art. And I agree with you that, variant covers kind of gimmicky, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a perfect world, I wouldn't do them, and then I sabotaged myself. But I was like, I never get another chance to do so. I got like artists that I've always loved. You know what I mean? So that was my way around to make myself feel like, okay, this isn't a gimmick. These are legitimate. Like I did Pat Broderick, Michael Gilbert, and Mike Stovich, classic superhero artists. I do superhero comics. For those of you who are not familiar with me, you know.
Oh, I think everybody on here knows who you are.
Well, we're on your channel also.
Yeah, but you know.
We got a good question over here. What did I? Okay, Old Dirty Fatty, a name that always makes me giggle. When are you doing an omnibus?
I don't know. Maybe when I win the lottery. That's it's expensive enough to print a 24-page thin paper floppy, let alone a giant hardcover brick of a book. But I would love that. I'm a big fan of omnibus. You can probably see all my. Whoops, sorry, I bumped the thing here. You can probably see all my rows and rows of hardcovers here, and the omnibuses are down there behind my chair. You can't see them, but they're there. I got so many omnibuses and hardcover collections. I love them. Big fan of them. I'd love to have that done. Actually, I'll tell you a story. I don't know if I can tell this one or not.
Uh-oh.
Well, there was.
This is Wulf and Batsy After Dark. We officially hit 11:01 in New York. You could tell any spicy story you want.
There's one of those ones where I don't know if I should name names or not because I don't know how they'd feel about it. They probably wouldn't care. There came a. Oh, okay. So there was a point. I think it was 2014 or 15, where I was at San Diego Con, and I went to Bud Plant's booth, and somebody who is at that time was very associated with old horror comics. I'll give you a hint. Fans of those books will know who I'm talking about. He was at the Bud Plant booth unloading a bunch of books from his publishing company, and I recognized him, and I said, "Are you so-and-so?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I love your horror books. I do a horror comic, and it's in that style of old-fashioned horror comics. I'd love to show it to you." And he walked with me all the way. He just met me, and he walked with me from one side of the San Diego Comic-Con diagonally all the way across to the other end where my table was in Artist Alley area or whatever I was. And if you've ever been to San Diego Con, you know what a journey that is. So he walked all the way over there. We talked about horror comics the whole way, and he took Wulf and Batsy, took it home. He liked it so much he was trying to pitch it to this publisher to get them to put it out as one in a hardcover format, like one of these books.
Oh, nice.
And they went round and round with him for about 2 years, not making a decision on it. And when these awesome hardcover collections, this series of books turned into paperbacks, that's when I knew they're probably having money problems at that company because those things were big sellers. And then he told me, yeah, they're just not picking up anything new. They're not going to go for it. So that was like one very close brush with Wulf and Batsy being released in a big way, but ultimately, as the way it turned out, no, it was not Mike Mignola. But the way it turned out, it was I dodged a bullet, I think, because the company kind of ended up not. If it had happened, they would have folded right when things were getting good, basically. So that's a story nobody's ever heard before, but it is true. I forget how we got on this topic, but you said something about
other people
omnibus.
Yeah.
But I'm a big hardcover comic. I'll tell you one thing that is funny. One thing that I found when I first started self-publishing in 2008, after Wulf and Batsy was with Viper Comics, I just tried to self-publish it then, and I found that trade paperbacks are actually a more economical way to self-publish than floppies. And I was doing trade paperbacks for a while, and it was cost more per unit, but it made more profit because you can put a higher price tag on a 250 to 300 page book, and those did quite well. But there's one of them.
And they're really good quality. I kind of balked because I thought, like, how good these are awesome.
Yeah, I was real proud of those, and that was the first kind of Wulf and Batsy audience that really picked up on it when I put those out. But I would like to do trade paperbacks at the very least eventually. New trade paperbacks, new editions. And all those ones that you're talking about there that will eventually be reprinted in the ongoing series. Because I'm kind of into this floppy regular comic book series thing now. I'm kind of enjoying it. And people seem to love it. So
people like comic books.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Comic books are overall, we're talking about the grand scheme of things, aren't doing that well. But yet everybody loves comics. Like even kids like comics, but kids are almost like I showed one of my friends, he brought his daughters over and I gave him some comics and they were like, what is this? They because who wakes up in the morning and says, you know what? I'm going to go into that store that I've never been into and buy comic books and get totally into it, even though I've never experienced one before. Like, you remember when we were kids, there was comic books everywhere. There was comic books in the supermarket. There was 7-Elevens. You know what I mean? And there was so much. They were prevalent everywhere. People just gave them to you. Like, oh yeah, here's the comics I'm done with. You know what I mean? And Archies and Sergeant Rocks and stuff I never would have picked up on my own. But it was just, people got them. They read them. They gave them to the little kid.
Yeah, I have Spider-Man 44 and 45 and 76 and 77. Both of those are 2-part Lizard stories because the Lizard was my favorite when I was a kid. And I don't know how I got them. I don't remember. I still got them over there. I don't know where I got them from. I don't know if my dad had them from his collection when he was he would have been in college at the time those came out. Maybe he gave them to me. I don't know if somebody else, another family member or somebody gave them to me. I don't know. I don't know where they came from. But I've always had these 4 early Spider-Man comics. Some of my favorites. But yeah, that's how common they were, and that's how they were just given to kids all the time.
Yeah.
You could take them home from the barbershop. Like, I remember when I was a kid, they'd be sitting on the little table there with the magazines, and they'd let you just take them home sometimes.
Yeah, I remember going to the barbershop, and my father instilled fear. I would try not to move. My father's like, if you move, he's going to cut you. So I used to try to be as deathly still. And I remember he gave me Battlestar Galactica, the Marvel Battlestar Galactica. I forget what number it was, but it was the number with Starbuck turned into a red ape because he ate this horrible fruit that mutated him. It was a monster. There you go. And I remember reading it, and then the barber said, "Yeah, take it home. Just take it.
That's great."
Yeah. So I still have that old beat up, and of course I bought another copy because I'm a crazy person.
Of course.
Tom Chaos. I bought the trade paperbacks for Wulf and Batsy years ago, but lost them. Would love to rebuy them.
You can still get them. John just picked those up a few weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah. I got 1 to 4. Even though I had the stories in the first one, I wanted to reread them because they're slightly different. And then I watched all your behind the scenes since I read them, so I wanted to see all the little. But I got these on Indie Planet. If you want to put the link in the private chat, I'll put it in the public chat. And I'm really happy with these. These are really well.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah. Yeah, put it in the private chat, and I'll throw it in the public chat for Tom.
Yep, they're still available on the Indie Planet site. All 4 volumes.
Yeah.
And I've had. Oh, let me try that again. Didn't send. There it goes. You should have it now. I've had some people ask me too. They say, "Well, if I order them on there, good sweet people who are worried about me getting paid for my work, they'd say, well, if I order it on there, are you going to get any of the money?" Actually, I get all of the money anything that they sell on there. It's a middleman between the printing company. Yeah, it's a middleman between the printing company and the customer, basically. They're the ones who make the books. You place your order, they make a copy and they send it, and then they take a little tiny percentage, but it's not much. And then and then the rest of the profit goes into my account.
They got to take money for printing costs and shipping it.
Yeah. So yeah.
But so would you if
Yeah.
So you go. This is the link to Wulf and Batsy #1, and from there you can find 2, 3, and 4. These are the trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
And
something worth pointing out.
This was your Watchmen.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my big one. But something worth pointing out is if you've only read the ongoing series of Wulf and Batsy, so far only the volume 1 trade paperback has been reprinted in the ongoing series. Everything after issue 6 has been new material that I've created since then. But that is the plan to do next. Is I want to start reprinting the rest of the material that's in the trade paperbacks, because I'm sort of working more in terms of the what do you call it, the chronological timeline of the characters' lives, more than the order in which things were made or printed. So that is the next step in their lives. The next adventure that they have would go to the volume 2 storyline that you have there.
I don't know if you're watching like a hawk, but we're up
no
4,000 now on your campaign.
Yeah, we seem to have slowed down for the night, I think, but being more than halfway there is very encouraging.
Yeah.
So thanks again to everybody.
Those grown men didn't want the comics? No. My father thought it was weird that I wanted to collect the comics and keep them. Like,
in those days.
Yeah, when I was a kid, when my father was a kid, he said that was like, you read it? He goes, it was great because I had a dime, and then I would buy the comic, and then I would swap with Bryan, and then Bryan would swap with Josh, and then Josh would swap with Bracey. Because for one dime, you read 7 or 8 comics. You know,
I was going to show these on camera if you want me to. Here's some of the original art.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not selling. There's a couple of these I'm not selling, and a couple of them that are on the campaign that are for sale. So that's the issue 1, or that's the cover A, standard cover. Here's B.
Oh wow, that is cool. Yeah, I'm gonna make you bigger. That is cool. And Wulf looks fiercest than that out of all of your drawings, I think.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's just every now and then when you have your own characters and you draw them over and over again, there's times when you just feel like you just captured them, exactly who they are. I feel like this was one of those times, so I want to keep that one.
And Batsy looks so much. You said she was a little bit inspired by the woman whose name I can't remember from Spider Baby.
Yeah, Jill Bannon.
Yeah.
And this is that one page where she reveals her bone bikini.
Yeah, she's being bratty there.
Yeah. I like the dead guys down there. Let's see what's in this. Oh, here's the rat page.
Yeah. That is
Notice
awesome.
he has no hind legs.
Oh.
He's just a big slug that drags itself around.
That makes it scarier.
And I also had fun drawing like vermin and lice all over him, and spiders too. He's got lice all over him.
Does he have like white blind eyes too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's a mess. This is the first thing that sold on the campaign, this cover.
Yep. The bone bikini.
Yeah, had a lot of fun with that one.
I thought I was clever making it up, and then somebody else thought they were clever making it up, and then you already did it. There's
this one. I don't know if anybody's going to buy this one. This might have been one I did just for my own joy. Just to entertain myself. I don't know if anyone else will feel as attached to that original Savage Sword cover as I do, but it's one of my all-time favorites, and it seemed like a perfect, obscure thing to do a homage cover to, for me, I guess.
I don't know if you know it, and I forget the number, but the Michael T. Gilbert cover of the patriarch and his family at the picnic, that's an homage to a Superboy comic.
Oh, okay. You got to show that one.
Homage comics. It's just that I don't have that comic, so I keep
getting you got to find that one. There's the spicy cover. Nope. I only drew a little bit of blood, and then I painted the rest on the color version.
And that sold out quick.
Oh yeah, that one went real fast. Oh, and now we're back to the beginning. But so that's a sample of the original art. So they're 11 by 17. They're pretty big. I mean, if you got one and framed it, it would stand out on the wall, I think.
Okay, you talk for a minute. I'm going to go get the commission that I got from you to show people.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I have to.
I can still hear you, so I could probably answer.
Well, let's have fun looking at some of this stuff. Back here on the shelf, I got this wonderful 1974 Godzilla. Here's my Wolfman mask that I used for Halloween last year with his claw hands. Here's my Frankenstein, and here's the Mummy. I got this. I just bought this the other day at the store. I went to the grocery store to buy something responsible, and they had this neon green blacklight skull. I just couldn't resist it. I had to buy them. Over here, I have some. Now, these are not originals. These are reprints, but these are the classic Bastille Halloween decorations, the classic jointed skeleton, the classic black cat, and the classic witch. I'm such a sucker for those Bastille Halloween decorations. I got tons of them. They're in storage, but anyway, yeah. So, and then I got the calendar for this month. I have an old-fashioned horror calendar, and the image this month is the 1970s Ben Cooper Wolfman mask. That's actually the image that would be on the kid's shirt on his Wolfman costume.
I always hated those when you're wearing a Wolfman costume and it has a Wolfman's face on his chest. That's not what the Wolfman looks like.
Right, but it defines Halloween for me. So
yeah, I know.
From my generation. And I was just showing my monster toys back here and other books and things. So I was killing time.
Do you have the Godzilla from the Shogun Warriors that when you his tongue stuck out? Yeah.
Got it I got that for my birthday, 1977.
Well, first Bryan sent me this. I'm trying to show so there's no glare, but you just sent me this one day. I didn't know it was coming. It was a nice surprise.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This is hanging up in my my comic book room, and this I commissioned, and I freaking love this. This, Bryan didn't know me at the time, so this is the amount of professionalism and talent that he puts in.
I don't know if we did that before or after the first time you had me on your show. I know that you did a video reviewing the first couple issues,
right?
And I saw that video, and I sent you an email and just said thanks so much. I appreciated it so much, and then you commissioned me for that. I believe that's.
Yeah, I think I invited you on my channel. Then I think I asked you for commission after you came on. But yeah, like
okay,
I was just some but that's what you get when you commission Brian Baugh, and I also commissioned Josh Howard too, and I never did that before. But I was just so happy to rediscover comics because I was a lifelong comic book fan, a lifelong Marvel and DC fan. Excuse me, and I got so disillusioned with Marvel and DC, and then when I found online people making comics with the same, you showing that picture of yourself in front of the Wolfman with the Star Wars, with this love of this nerdy stuff that I was like, I just want to get in on it, like jump right into the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my shotgun Godzilla.
Shogun.
Oh, Shogun. Oh, he spelled it wrong. Okay.
So I'm crying myself to sleep.
I had the Mazinga, Dragoon, and Raideen. I never had the Godzilla.
I always wanted Dragoon. Dragoon was the one I didn't get. I had the Rodan, and I had Guy King. Do you remember him? He was the one with the yellow horns and the big face on. Yeah, I had that one, but I always wanted Dragoon. No, he had gold skull on his chest and big yellow horns. He was cool. But I always wanted Dragoon so bad.
Dragoon was the red one because it looked like a devil thing, and
he was amazing.
It had like a little device that you could literally strap on, and it shot like these plastic shurikens across the room.
Yeah,
and if you took it off, it looked like a spaceship, so you could have like a little spaceship.
Oh right,
yeah, yeah.
Those were great classic 70s toys. I still got my Godzilla. I don't know what happened to Guy King.
I wonder how many of those Shogun Warriors, because every once in a while I never heard of Guy King, so because there was
okay. Get Frankie B. Washington on the line.
Yeah, I know.
Because the way I know monsters, he's encyclopedic knowledge about giant kaiju monsters, Godzilla monsters, and the Shogun Warriors. He's a huge Shogun Warriors fan. He and I have had a couple conversations about him on Twitter. I loved them, but they weren't my first love. Monsters were my first love, but I loved them. I love the Shogun Warriors, and Frankie was a huge fan.
I read his comic Kaiju and Cowboys, or Cowboys and Kaiju. I just read 1 to 4, and number 5 is on Kickstarter right now. Good guy, fun guy, loves comics, and it's funny.
Heart of gold.
Yeah, he came on my channel, and he just I thought I talk a lot, man, but I could have listened to him for hours. And he, it was just funny how, like, we would talk about, you latch onto something. Like, he kept talking about Herb Trimpe, who's, no disrespect to Mr. Trimpe, but he's not one of my favorite comic book artists.
Right.
He
Okay.
On and on, talking about how he's an inspiration, and to the point where I was like, I got to give Herb Trimpe a second look.
Another look. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. You get hooked on certain comic book artists that just something about they may not be the most popular guys, but something about their style just connects with you, your mentality or something. I had that with like Mike Plug, was a big one for me like that, where not everybody loved him as one of the big iconic comic book artists, but I mean, he's got a great career of amazing credits, and something about the way he drew Werewolf by Night.
To the point when he left Werewolf by Night, it's a chore to read. I got all the Plug issues. I read them through, and then he left, and I still there's a stack right here, and I'll put something else on top of it. I'll read those later. It's just
I still love them. I still read them.
I'm saying the Plug ones I love, but the after Plug,
yeah, I love them all. I'm a sucker.
Plug, yeah. I'm trying to think what else did he did he did some Red Sonja for a while, and
he did Man Thing.
Right.
He did the Frankenstein monster, the Marvel Frankenstein monster.
Right.
And a lot of people seem to overlook this, but he did a ton of storyboards for The Thing, John Carpenter's movie, The Thing.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And he did a bunch of artwork for Ralph Bakshi's movie Wizards.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
He's done a ton of crazy stuff. He's amazing. I love Plug.
But what if you remember Mooney, what's his name? Is it John Mooney or Jim Mooney? I always forget. But he did,
Jim Mooney, right?
Yeah, he did Ghost Rider, and he did Spectacular Spider-Man. Just one of those unsung heroes. Wonderfully creepy. It's funny to see him do Spider-Man, and then the story that Jim Mooney. Thank you, Gordon. He did a Spider-Man story where like a dead clone of Miles Warren, who was the Jackal, came back, and his name was Carrion. So it was basically a zombie. Oh my God, it was, for a little kid, this was terrifying. I right up your alley, but you couldn't touch him because whatever he would touch you, it would burn. So Spider-Man was like holding him by the wrists, trying to get him, and the creature was just trying to caress Spider-Man's face. It was so freaking scary. And then he went and did a Ghost Rider, which I keep talking about. I break them out every couple of months on my channel. These Ghost Rider 35 and 36 are the creepiest comics ever. I didn't even know that because I didn't read DC back then, Supergirl. Does he make her cute? Because he does like really creepy monster people. So he must draw cute girls too if he did Supergirl. Because if she's not cute, she ain't Supergirl.
This is true.
I'm like pretty ready to go to bed. I've been going live since 5 o'clock today.
I'm starving. I haven't eaten any dinner yet, so
we're starting to fade. So I'll bring up your campaign one last time.
Yeah. Wow, we're almost to 5,000. I can't believe it.
This has been so cool.
This has been great. Thanks so much, everybody. I mean, I don't know. Why can't they make comics like that anymore? Like what? Like Werewolf by Night? Is that what
Werewolf by Night or those old Ghosts? Because
Ghost Rider,
those guys were professionals that like they took their craft seriously. They wouldn't skimp on the backgrounds. They would draftsman. They you keep hearing stories. It would be like 9 o'clock. They would pick up their pencils and they would just work.
Yep.
And then at 5 o'clock to put their pencils down. They were trained, disciplined professionals. They didn't play video games till 6 o'clock in the morning, like
me.
I'm goofing on Dan Slott that he writes comics and he's constantly missing his deadlines. Let's play video games. Dude, you're a world man. Get your craftsman. Get your you're writing Spider-Man. People would kill to write Spider-Man. Understand what an honor it is to draw what I would consider one of the top tier comics characters rather in American culture. I have a lot of respect for comic book characters. Like if you're drawing the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, or Batman, dude, you're like a custodian of American culture.
It's a monolith. You got to treat it with respect. Yep.
But anyway, that's enough of my rant. Buy Wolf and Batsy. Buy Wolf and Batsy while you still can. Why? Do you know something me and Bryan don't know? Bryan, you got to go to the doctor or anything?
Is there a price on my head?
Yeah, I know. Old Dirty, call us. Let us know.
There's 29 days to go on this. Hopefully the orders will be big enough that I can overprint and we'll have some leftover stock for people to order. That'd be good. But we'll see. As long as we can make that goal, we should have enough to do what we got to do.
Yeah. Well, this is fun, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
The link is in there. I got to go back and get the spicy and violent covers.
But I think this has been for a first night. This has been a lot more successful than my first campaign, which I thought did pretty good. Not
only was it your first night, it was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, it was, because I'd been saying that I was going to launch this later in the weekend, and then some of those other things that were kind of obstacles got out of the way, and it was wide open, and people were emailing me saying they were excited about it, they couldn't wait for it, and I just thought, why not? Why not just do it tonight? Friday night seems like a fun time to do this.
I think Friday nights are a good fun night to launch a comic.
Yeah.
Like Sunday nights, like I gotta go to work in the morning. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
So another lesson learned, right?
Right. Well, I launched my comic on a Friday night on Michael Bancroft's channel, and I did really well. First time guy, with the unknown IP and everything. Plus, this is synchronicity. This is a good time. Well, you knew that to launch a Halloween, a monster werewolves in October. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, the timing worked out, for this one.
Yep. All right. I'm excited too. I love that trailer. Oh, I wanted to say the artwork, that opening thing of the picket fence. Oh my God, that's so good. Your art gets better and better every issue.
Oh, thanks.
But on that, I'm going to say goodnight because I didn't eat dinner yet, and I'm getting sleepy.
I am starving. I want to go eat pizza and watch a monster movie and play video games till 6 a.m.
Well, that's good. Your comic is done, so you could do that.
Right.
You met your deadline.
All right, cool. Thanks for having me on here, John. I really appreciate it.
Glad to help. See you, everybody.
And thanks to everybody who backed.
And
See you.
Wolf and Batsy. Bye-bye.